So, hey, this morning I went for an EEG, which is why my hair is looking the way it is. It's the gel from the electrodes they put on the skull, the different places. Um, nice hair. So, why did I go and do that? Well, although I've been recovering, I think, very well since I had the seizure and then the coma and the brain edema. Well, I don't think it was in that order. At the very end of November, I still feel that there's something not right with my brain. And I feel it's, I've basically been noticing that I'm going through an experience that is both on the mental level as on the physical level and the emotional level. And yeah, really, it's kind of seems to be kind of like a spiritual I don't know, a spiritual healing or a spiritual journey. I don't really know what to call it because I've never been through anything like this before. But even though I can see that the way I think of it is that um, that the Kambo created this space in which I can have the opportunity of healing in different levels in different ways. And so even though that's going on and that's going okay, I have the feeling that there's something with my brain that's it's not quite right. And so I wanted to go and have that checked out. So today I went for I went for an EEG, and it was really interesting. Actually, I filled out before I went quite a comprehensive questionnaire, and then when I was there, I had this 19 electrodes or 19 channel EEG. And basically it's the most comprehensive or the most what's the word? It's the most advanced form of EEG that is possible to have. And so that took 5 lots of 5 minutes. I had my brain scanned, or at least the channels measured, while I had my eyes closed. Did that for 5 minutes, then with my eyes open, reading, and then watching a film. And the results were really interesting. What I've been experiencing, which makes me feel like I wanted to have something checked out, is that I still feel very indecisive. I still feel that it's difficult to project my thoughts to the future. So sequential thinking. I find I get overwhelmed. I also find that I get overwhelmed if I'm trying to do more than one thing at the same time, which wise people say is impossible anyway. But even so, given that we can kind of juggle a few thoughts about different activities at the same time. I'm not able to do that anymore. What else? I'm very emotional, which is not like me. And tearful. I mean, sort of, having tearful spells. What else? I can't remember. Forgetful. Did I say that? A few other things which just to me just feel like things are not quite right there. And it's been, now it's the middle of April. What's that? 4 months. And I've met a few other people recently who have had brain trauma, and I just thought, I don't want to go on if I can do something about it proactively now, which will speed up my recovery or will help my recovery. But what came out of it, and this is like really layperson's terms, is that I do have a challenge with language. with recalling words, finding the right words, and actually I feel like I've had that actually a large part of my life, and it has had quite a big impact on the way I am, because I don't think of myself as particularly a shy person, but it means that in certain social situations, I feel like I'm not able to express myself very well, because I'm very slow to get to words, and I'm very slow to be able to put my thoughts into words. So I don't often start, and conversation seems to go very fast. I've had that from my 20s. It's exacerbated now. It's worse now, but I've had that for a long time. And she was able to see that is definitely, there's a part of my brain that's not kind of firing up in that area. There's another part that's showing that I don't have what does she call it? Unprocessed emotions that are kind of stored in the body, which is really interesting. And what else? Yeah, I've forgotten what the other thing was. Oh yeah, and what I seem to have done is something has happened, and she can't put a time on it, but something has happened whereby the parts the I don't know whether I'm even explaining this properly, but the parts of my brain that are supposed to that's parts of my brain have kind of slowed down much more slowly than they need to do. And then another part of my brain is compensating by kind of being always on alert. So she said, it's really intelligent how your brain has done that, and that's just my brain that's done it. It's not to do with me. I think any brain would perhaps do it in a similar situation. I have no idea, but it's compensated by compensated for this area of slow waves by speeding up, and I can actually see that. It's like one part of me, I feel like I have been often very wired or on alert, and another part of me feels like I'm really not functioning optimally. And I've expressed this to people over the years, and they say, oh, everybody has can't remember stuff, but it's kind of like, no, you don't understand, this is different for me. So that was really interesting. Yeah, I don't feel I'm conveying this very well, but I asked her, okay, so if those things look like they may be of a longer duration, what could have caused it? She thinks it could be due to the chronic intestinal problems that I had, which lasted for 15 years, and because of which I just learned to push myself, just to keep going, to push myself through, just to not feel emotions, not feel my body. And I was relatively successful, so that kind of worked up to a certain point. But I wanted to know, was there anything, why is it particularly now? Why has it become worse now? And she said, what happens with a brain edema, and I imagine she means any brain trauma, but with me specifically, what happens with the brain edema is that it's like the constructs that I've created that mean that I'm able to function in my world kind of all got shaken about, and are not there anymore. So it's not surprising I'm going through this process, which is very, very deep and quite a bit of a roller coaster. So that was really interesting. And I see that I'm almost at 10 minutes. I want to show a couple of photos, so I'm going to sign off there, and see you next time.